Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today I want to go through and do a graphical comparison for New Horizons. The most recent advertisement for New Horizons blew me away. It gave us some very short looks at different parts of the game, but I found that the visuals were popping and overall looked much better than ever before. So I've taken a few of these screenshots and I'm going to break them down in segments. So the first screenshot that I have here is from when it was first revealed at E3. The next screenshot I have is from the September 2019 Direct, and the final screenshot I have is from the advertisement that we just got on New Year's Day. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the trees. So these are the spring trees. Of course, they've got the cherry blossoms going, and I don't know if it was a brighter day during E3, but we do see that this tree is just a lot. I guess I feel like it's a little bit more on the yellow pink side. Like there's a little bit more sunlight hitting it, but you also see some differences in the trunk too. It looks lighter overall than these two other trees here. So the first one, of course, is from E3, the next one's from September, and the next one is from 2020. Sorry, this is getting cut off a little bit, so I can't show you the full image, but you do get an idea here. I feel like the shadows are very nice in this last one. I feel like you get a lot deeper shadow work with the newest renders, I guess. And then the middle one kind of shows that progression. Overall, I feel like we're seeing a nice progression with the shadows and kind of the shading that's going on in this game. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is once again organized E3 to September to 2020, and this is a look at the grass. So the one thing that was very, I guess, prevalent in when this game was first revealed was the grass. A lot of people felt that it looked very flat. They felt like they wanted the designs to show up a little bit more, so you get them a little bit here. They're definitely more scattered and a lot more just blank grass space. When it came back in September, it seemed like they did a lot more to really show that pattern a lot better. So you see a lot of these darker greens that we saw just as an example from the E3, but then you see the pattern kind of go into this lighter texture here. So you get a lot more variety. Now with 2020, what I'm surprised is like we're moving a little bit more toward that original E3 look where the grass is getting very sparse here. At least the pattern in the grass is getting very sparse, and you still get some of these darker yellows and darker greens, but yeah, overall it just seems like they've got kind of a middle ground approach going with this 2020 aspect. So let's go ahead and move into this next one. So here is a look at the flowers, and I don't know what it is exactly that's different here, but I do feel like that last one, it's the same as the trees that we saw before, but the 2020 look just looks like it's got some really nice shading going on. You can see it kind of on the trunk here. You can tell the sunlight is coming from down in this bottom left corner and really pushing the shadows in this direction. And then the other thing, this angle is definitely lower than these other two, so you can kind of see the bottoms of the flowers. You get a little taste of that different color at the bottom here, but you can really see it in these shots, and you can see it even in the yellow here. The yellow is showing up a lot lighter at the bottom. The white ones, of course, you can't really tell because it seems like it's getting wider here at the bottom, but yeah, I feel like you can hardly tell. I guess you can tell on this red flower, but I think that might be the angle. But yeah, overall, the shadow work just looks incredible, and you can tell the tree trunk here is definitely looking darker because of the shadows, whereas the tree trunk here, you can see the shadows kind of come down on this end, and maybe it's just the direction the light is pointing, but yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, the shadow work, you can even see it on the leaves here, so it looks just so much better. And the shadows in this one, and once again, it's probably where the light source is coming from, but it also, I don't know if it just doesn't seem as consistent to me as this one, and maybe it's just the time of day, like I said. So let's go ahead and move on. Now this is another example of just like, I feel like the colors are looking more sharp, they're looking a lot deeper, where this one, I don't know, just overall it just looks like a flatter kind of thing going on, whereas it gets more and more textured the further you go. So just, I don't know, I feel like the look is incredible in this one. You can see a lot more of the texture. You can see some of these lines kind of start to appear where it's kind of giving you like a little ripple effect, I guess. But yeah, just overall the colors look really great. These greens on the towel are the ones that I noticed for sure. Like this one's a lot brighter and it gets gradually darker, and there are less colors in this final version of this hammock for sure. I think this one has both of these have 2 extra colors on the end where the green returns, whereas it just stays kind of the red here. And yeah, it looks overall more faded, but also like more real. I don't know. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. So here we have a picnic kind of set, and the bench. This September one didn't have the picnic set on it, unfortunately. But yeah, just like as you move along, you get a lot of that feel with the shadow work as well. You can see the shadows of this towel kind of coming down. And this is definitely, I feel like, a different angle where the light source is coming from. It feels like it's coming from down here in this direction and pushing that way, whereas this side, it looks like it's pushing more toward the right. But yeah, just you're getting a much deeper, I guess, I feel change from the gradient here. So you see the top is definitely lighter, and as you get down, it just gets like right into those blacks. So I feel like just overall the shading in this bench is really incredible, and just the texture looks a lot better too. Like this one, I think you clearly are crafting this bench with the softwood versus more of the regular wood and hardwood, which maybe they are just different wood types that are showing up here. But yeah, the texture that you get on these is almost non-existent compared to this final image, and you can definitely tell in this picnic basket that the textures are just so much better. You can see the shading and everything. It just feels like a much deeper piece, so it's very cool. I also like just the little silverwares and everything in here. All the little items look very cute, and I'm glad they were able to fit those in there. So let's go ahead and move into the next one. So here's a quick look at the lamp. I didn't really see too many differences with this one. The table looks generally the same. And yeah, I mean, this one looks about the same, but I just thought I'd show it because it was in all 3 of them. This next one, I feel like I can tell some pretty good differences here. So it's mostly focused on the barrel. You can feel just some different discoloration going on in the barrel, giving it kind of more of a greasy look, like it's been cooking for a while, and so it's gradually gotten darker and darker from the soot and the smoke and everything. So yeah, just overall, I feel like this one is getting a much deeper texture than this one. Just overall, there's just more depth to this. So this next image is from, I guess, the bench. So we've got E3 in 2020 here as a comparison. The September one didn't have the bench, at least that same image didn't have it. But the main thing I really wanted to point out in this one, because the benches look pretty similar, the lighting's a little bit different, so this one's darker for sure, and I feel like once again, you get like this shadow work that is really incredible and just feels deeper, but the background is really what I wanted to focus on here. So you definitely, I feel like the trees before in the background were a lot blurrier in the first kind of look that we got at this game, whereas these, they definitely have kind of this hazy effect as you move toward the background, but it just doesn't look as blurry as it did before. Like, I feel like you can still make out some of the textures from the trees, and so yeah, that's really what I wanted to point out here. And then I think I've got a couple more slides, but here's a look at the chair, and this might be a time of day thing too, but we've got more of a tan look to this chair, whereas this is very white, and once again, I feel like we just, and unfortunately the September one is just cut off, so we can't really take as good a look to it, but just everything seems so much flatter in these ones versus this last image. It just feels like they've gotten the depth right. They feel like the shading on this arm, for example, I don't know, it just stands out to me compared to this one for sure, where the shading just doesn't look like there's any depth to the object. So let's go ahead and move on. Now, this is finally, I think this is my last slide. Yeah, so this is my last slide, and we're going to take a look at the house here. And just overall, it looks so much clearer. Like, the colors are just more crisp and things. And this house is definitely a little bit further back in the background in this original image from E3. And it has kind of that, like, blurry kind of effect that things in the background tend to have in that first E3 trailer. Whereas this one, it's, you know, it's pretty equidistant to our character. So you can see the top of the character's head here and the top of the character's, well, their whole head in this one. So they're about the same distance from this house, but just overall this looks blurrier. You can make out the color of the bricks a lot better. The red here is a bit deeper than before, and even the flowers and the shading going on in this wreath are looking a lot brighter. But the other thing I wanted to point out is the mailboxes here on this left side for the 2021, mailboxes on the right side for the E3 one. It seems cool that we're going to be able to change up where our mailboxes are. And then the other thing is the paths. This one I feel like is a bummer, but I'm going to make a prediction based on this. But the path goes all the way up to the house. It meets underneath the staircase in the original E3 render here, but it doesn't quite reach in this one. And this is unfortunate, because one of the biggest flaws with New Leaf and putting down patterns was that there was always a square in front of your house that you could not place a pattern, so it made everything look so much messier than you wanted it to, and this feels like it has the same effect. But I'm making a prediction here that we're going to be able to move our houses after they've been built. I don't know how exactly they're going to handle it. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things that they do with stamina, where you can just like lift your house for a little bit, pave some little path underneath it, and then place it back down again. I don't know if they'll do it that way, but I do have, for some reason, just a sneaking suspicion that we're going to be able to move our home, and it's going to be something that's introduced with the new tents that we're going to be, essentially placing on our own. So yeah, that's just a little prediction from me for this whole thing, but I do really hope that we can make our paths go to the very end just like before. And I guess while we have the paths here, this path just looks like a brown color, whereas this one feels like it has different shades of brown going on. So just overall, the colors feel like they are much deeper now. They've got a lot more just life to them. I feel like all the extra work that they've done with this game is making it look really, really good. So anyways, I'll leave you all with that. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.